Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Crummy's Christmas Countdown. It's day 8, I hope. Rocking yet another Star Wars Christmas. This one not as baggy as the other one, it's a little tight. Yeah, a stormtrooper that's for some reason dressed himself in Christmas lights. And a Santa hat. I do have a Santa hat. It's a bit warm for it today though. I'll save that for later in the countdown, I reckon. So yeah, what's today's beer? Well, I think it's going to be a big one. Let's find out what is behind door number 8. That's right, from a very, very well regarded brewery in London, the Kernel with their India Porter. Yeah, Export India Porter. It's not a Baltic Porter, but an Export India. Anyway, naming convolution aside, it's a strong porter. Or is it? It's quite a big bottle, but actually it's only 5.9%. I thought this was stronger. I guess it's strongish for a porter, but the porter we had yesterday was 5.7, 5.8, so hey, it's not really all that out there. But it is from the Kernel, so it's probably going to be decent. Minimal artwork, as you can see on the bottle, but I will show you anyway, just before we crack into it. There you go, look, just the trademark brown label of the Kernel. Nice bit of smoke off the bottle there. Quite a hoppy aroma to say it's a porter, actually. Now, I do believe the Kernel is almost exclusively bottle condition, so I'm probably going to forego just the end of it, which I've got no choice of, because look at that pour. A proper crummy pour, then a solid 4 to 5 finger cream, beige, whatever Dulux colour chart interpretation you want to make of that head on it. Doesn't look like it's going anywhere either, so it's clearly a solid, stable beer. Colour wise, I mean, it's pitch. That is, there's no colour coming through there. Yeah, it's it looks good. I don't know how many aromas I'm going to be able to get through that thick cloud of foam on the top of it, but we'll give it a go. This is bizarre. If I'd blind aroma tested this, what's the word? Smell tested this? Whatever you want to call it. I'd have said that's an American Pale Ale, straight off the bat. Now the hops in this are printed quite large on the back. It's just Vic Secret hops, actually. So it's got that vibe, which seems strange, I'll be honest. Maybe that's why they called it an Export India Porter, the India Pale Ale, you know, hop connotation. I don't really know, but anyway, what does it actually smell like? Well, there is a nod of the kind of dark caramel malt in there. It's predominantly very fresh, very hoppy, lightly tropical, sweet, mango, passion fruit, that kind of thing, which is weird. So I don't know how this is going to taste, but let's find out. Cheers. Wow, that's a journey. That is a journey. I think it's safe to say this is probably an experimental beer. When I'm after a dark beer, that's not the flavour profile I'm after, normally. But it's not bad. It has to be said, it is not bad. Good amount of bitterness from the hops, good bit of sweet malt in there. It is lightly tropical, I'd say, but it's got a fairly bitter back end on it as well. Right then, I really don't know where to go from here, so top to bottom taste test. Initially, slightly sweet, very mild carbonation on the front of the tongue. That leads into a proper bitterness across the majority of the tongue. You get quite an abrupt crash on the swallow. It goes quite refreshing quite quickly, but it's... In fact, I'm going to sneeze. I was going to say, it's quite nasally in the hop department and on the aroma while you're drinking it. It's really getting up my nose, and, well, there's the proof. After you swallow, it starts to brighten up. Tropical fruits, more bitterness, and a bit of that sweet malt caramel build. But the bitterness from the hops and the bitterness from the dark malts are making it not the most appealing beer on the aftertaste. It has to be said. It's really sticking on the back of my tongue, just hanging around going, yeah, this is quite bitter. It's a very well executed beer, this, but while I suspect the IBUs aren't necessarily that high in terms of its peak bitterness, it doesn't half hang around. It really lingers, really lingers. Right then, let's take a look at what is ultimately a very limited label and bottle. On the front then, the Kernel Brewery London Export India Porter, 5.9% ABV. It says it was bottled on the 30th of the 3rd this year, and it's best before the 30th of the 3rd next year, so we've got 4 months to play with, which is great. Bit more actually. It says bottle conditioned beer, still upright and pour gently if you prefer to leave the yeast sediment inside the bottle. I'll probably finish it later, but for all intents and purposes of a fair test, I thought it was best to leave it out. Hops are Victoria's Secret. Ingredients are water, hops, sugar, yeast and barley. That's interesting. Why have they put raw sugar in this? Because it's not that strong. It's 5.9. You don't need... It also might explain some of the slight abrasiveness. And then it's got their address and the kernelbrewery.com. It's a 500ml bottle. That's all you really need to know. I really want to like this. I've had 2 beers from the Kernel now, this and one other, and people have raved about them forever, saying how they don't mess around with silly marketing gimmicks and it's all about the beer. And the one I had before was fine. Wasn't necessarily my style, but it was fine. This I was really looking forward to. Export India Porter sounds right up my street. And to be honest, I feel like I've been mugged off, because this just feels like a pale ale in disguise. It does have some of those proper roasty notes, but they're so low down, so dominated by the hop, that I think I'd either want a properly hoppy pale ale or that nice malty dark experience. And there's plenty of companies, I mean Sierra Nevada Pale Ale for a start, that happens to really balance that malt and hop factor in a way that this is close to doing, but it's not done quite well enough. And given that it's dark, I just wanted more malt. I just wanted more malt out of it. That's a real shame, because it is a brilliant beer in terms of its, I suppose, build quality, for want of a better term. Just the quality of the beer itself is absolutely phenomenal. Look at it in the glass. I mean, the mouthfeel on this, it's soft, it's silky. It's not thick, but it's not thin either. It's right on point. And yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. I probably would try it again, but with a bit of hesitation, I think, from me. As I say, the quality's there. It's just not what I wanted on this. I was going to say cold winter night, but I put the heating on. I'm actually red hot, so there you go. And that really is all I have to say about it. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you haven't already subscribed, if you will be so kind. And I'll catch you tomorrow for day 9. Cheers.